walking down the street in All Stars. Is that what it says? I don't even I don't even know the lyrics. I don't even know the lyrics to that shit. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Guess who's back on the West Coast track? It's the motherfucking Messiah, gangster rap. Yo, I remember when I was little, I wanted to be like the Game, bro. Kind of want to take these off, but I don't know. The other day, the last episode, I had them off. What y'all think? With or without the headphones? I'm going to just leave the headphones on for right now because I need a fucking fresh cut, honestly. I ain't even going to front with you right now. But yeah, ever since like just listening to rap music, like in the beginning and shit. Y'all ever remember like the first rap song y'all ever heard and shit? For me, like by memory, it's got to be this one. It's got to be like not this song, but like the Game. You know what I mean? Like West Side Story type shit. Cause that's when obviously his first album and shit. And then they say these days that the Game be capping a lot. You know what I mean? Like the game be capping a lot. That supposedly they asked him about how did that song How We Do, this is how we do. That song supposedly they asked him like, oh, how did it come about? And he was all saying he was like walking. He said he was walking in the studio or some shit, and he was just like fresh like Impala just starting it off like that. And then he said supposedly that Dr. Dre was like, oh, what you singing? What is that? He's like, oh, don't worry about it and all this shit. And then the comments are like, you really think he's gonna tell Dr. Dre don't worry about it? Like, I don't know, but that's not my thing to judge right there. You know what I mean? It's not my thing to judge. You never know. He might be telling the truth. Oh, fuck, man. Work was a fucking bitch, man. Always. Them 9-hour days be no joke. Just a little bit 1 hour overtime, but still, that should just be like, at the end of the day, I'm just like gassed out. Like, not even gassed out, I'm just like mentally drained. Especially on Wednesdays. Like today, like I have to like not force myself, but muster the strength, or what do people mean when they say that shit? Like, oh, I had to muster some strength or some shit like that. I don't know if y'all ever heard that saying, but it's a saying. It's like, oh, something he mustered enough. Is it mustard? Oh, mustered the strength. Some shit. I don't even fucking know, bro. People be coming up with weird ass sayings these days and shit. Honestly, bro, had to muster the courage. Yeah, like some shit like that. Like mustered the courage. I don't even know. I'm just saying random shit right now, man. How y'all been? Man? I know it's too late in the episode already, but welcome everyone to another episode of the No Signal podcast. I gave y'all 2 episodes on Sunday, and keep in mind that second episode I posted 82. That one was supposed to be for last week and shit, but it was a pre-recorded episode. I ended up posting that same episode the same day I got the homies over and shit. It was pretty cool. I feel like I could have done better as a host. You know what I mean? In like certain situations, like first off, like the introduction and shit. I didn't even say like what they are to me and shit. You know what I mean? Like they the homies and shit. Obviously, they the homies from high school and shit. Fucking like the homie Kevin. The one in the middle. I knew about him because like obviously we all went to the same high school and shit. But just my senior year, I went to a different high school and shit. But all those other years, like it was just, like I would always be around them and shit, talking shit or whatever. roasting motherfuckers and shit. Like, oh, don't even say nothing to me, boy. Look at you with the fucking, picnic ass fucking button up shirt and shit. You know what I mean? Like shit like that, bro. I remember the Vine days and shit. The Vine days, I used to like record people and like I used to record people and then be like, boy, I'm about to grill your shit. Look at you wearing this motherfucking, and then just like go off and shit. Damn, those are memories. Good fucking memories, honestly. But like I said, the fuck? I don't even know. But yeah, like Jerry, he's my barber, obviously. But in high school, like I had kind of had like a little crush on his sister and shit. But like that was like just like a week. That was just for about a week, and then after I just like got over it. You know what I mean? But but anyways, like we all like we kept that like respect with each other because we all knew that all of us hooped and shit. We all balled up and shit. And we still do. Sometimes we like team up or some shit. Or we like go against each other whenever we play like pickup or some shit at 24. Back then when I used to go, I don't have my pass no more. I canceled that shit because I got a home gym now. So I just be fucking around in the backyard, shooting around, get my cardio. My just to get the body, just get the blood flowing, the body moving and shit, and then come inside, lift weights. Yesterday, I had a bust a mama mentality day, honestly. I had to take a page out of Kobe's book, honestly. I ain't gonna lie. Because Monday, I always do like chest day and shit. I always work out. Obviously, Monday was, the last game of the season. Congrats to the champions, Denver Nuggets. I'll get into that in a minute. But on Mondays, I usually do like chest day and shit. Oh, it's too high? I feel like I'm too high. I feel like I'm talking too loud. But Mondays I usually do like chest day and shit. Go out in the backyard, hoop and shit. But Monday, my parents invited me to go eat sushi and shit like that. And me, I've been craving sushi. I love sushi, honestly. So I was like, oh, okay, like let me see what's up and shit. And then like we went, and then I asked my mom, like sometimes she be drinking and shit. I'm like, oh, are you gonna get a drink? You know what I mean? Like a drink. She's fucking scratching the fuck out of me. I was asking her, I was like, you gonna get a drink? And then she was like, oh, I don't know. Are you? And I was like, I'll drink if you drink. And then sure enough, she got a drink. And then my dad, he got a drink. And then I was like, yo, I gotta get a drink for myself and shit. So I ended up getting a drink with them. But the dude like filled that shit up all the way to the fucking top. I'm like, God damn. Like literally all the way up to the top. I was like, shit. And like I had like my mom had like 2 glasses. I had 2 glasses and shit. But me, like I can't drink, bro. Like I fucking down the fuck out of them, bro. And I don't even do it on purpose. Like the second glass, I downed it because we was about to leave. And then my mom, when we got in the car, she was like, oh yeah, you downed it. You downed it. But the sushi with the beer, and I told my mom, I was like, hey, like I'm fucking full. I think I'm gonna throw up. And then my dad was like, ah. My daddy always does that shit. I was like, Mom, I think I'm gonna throw up. And then my dad was like, like just like laughing and shit. Oh shit, yeah, I got a new tattoo, y'all. I don't know if y'all could see it. Right here is this shit right here. I don't know if y'all could flip the screen upside down, but it's the Kanye graduation bear. When it's like coming out of the mouth, that's the logo I got and shit. The image I got. It was pretty dope. It wasn't too expensive. I paid like $120 for that shit, so it was cool. What else did I do? I got the tattoo on Friday last week. Saturday, I didn't go to work. I went to Drew League. I went to the Drew League and shit. I try to vlog for y'all and shit, but like, I'm gonna just say it, bro. Like the camera that I got at Best Buy, bro, like that shit, like it don't even turn on, bro. And I charged the fuck out of that bitch. Like I literally charged it the whole day, like the whole like afternoon when I got it up until the nighttime. And then when the nighttime came, I tried to turn it on, and then it's like not cooperating and shit. But that's another motherfucking story, though. You know what I mean? But since we're barely starting off, let's get into the basketball talk, I guess, or let's talk about So I got a couple topics right here. Obviously, we know this month, June, is a men's mental health awareness month, men's mental health month, men's mental health awareness month, men's mental awareness. Just shit like that, man. I don't like, but what a coincidence that fucking men's mental health month lands on like a pride month and shit like that. And it really cancels like each other out, because you got like half the people like, like that are like, how do you say, like masculine, like manly and shit like that, and then you got the other half that are trying to be like submissive and be like all like, like just catering and shit, just like, oh, like I don't know, like just being soft and shit, just softening up. And especially like seeing pictures of like the White House and shit, like having the like pride flag and shit, and like the non-binary flag or whatever the fuck. Yo, our forefathers did not die for this, honestly. Yeah, you could call me like homophobic, whatever the fuck y'all want to call me. I already got canceled in my other episodes talking about, shit like this, talking about shit like this. But either way, I really don't give a shit, honestly, at this point. But at the same time, like you really think the men who built the White House would think like, oh yeah, like, yeah, this is gonna be a good house. This is gonna be a good house to put a gay flag in. Well, this is a pride flag, but it's the same shit. Why do people get offended whenever you mention them as gay or like queer and stuff like that? But whenever they say it amongst each other, it's normal. It's like, I'm not I'm not gonna compare it to the N word and shit, bro. This I'm not gonna do that. I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. But I'm saying, bro, like, why is it that whenever we call someone like, like, oh, like he's gay or whatever, or he's, queer, they get offended. But when they say it amongst each other, it's just like, oh, normal. Like, yes, yes, like, yes, I'm queer and all this shit. Like, bro, like, come on now. Like, our forefathers did not die for this. Presidents did not die for this. Obviously, Martin Luther King had a dream. This was not the dream. This was not the dream. The dream, obviously, like we know, like Martin Luther King, he's not a president. He was like, you know, a pastor turned into like, a civil rights activist and, stuff like that. It's like, bro, like you really think like all he wanted was equality. All he wanted was equality and shit, like blacks and whites get together and shit, could do, you know, the same shit, just normal people shit, but just different skin color and shit. But these days it's like, yeah, like everybody, like obviously Martin Luther King's dream is like, is good because like you got damn near half the NBA is, African American and shit. Compared to back then, whenever he was, marching and shit, it was like mostly whites and shit. Y'all pick up what I'm throwing down, right? Y'all pick up what I'm throwing down. He did not die for, all these fucking trans people, non-binary people to be roaming around. I'm like, not even Martin Luther King. Just disregard that. That's the last discussion right there. That's the last, little paragraph right there. But this one, bro, like JFK, bro. JFK did not die for shit like this. He did not die for fucking trans people, non-binary people to be out here in the fucking in front of the White House, fucking without shirts and shit. Obviously, if it's like a trans man, a girl that transitioned to a man, and you could see her scars and all this shit, like under the fucking tit, under the boob and shit. It's like, bro, like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Like, really though, and they really paying like mad, like thousands of dollars to do all these like fucking transplants, surgeries, and all this shit. And in the long run, it's like, bro, like, what about your health in the long run? In the long run, there is no long run. You might, I'm not, knock on wood, to the people that, do the surgery without, that much knowledge or information on it. There is no long run. You might, you know, something might, a artery might get clogged, or a fucking vein might bust or some shit. And then what's finna happen? You finna collapse. You finna faint. You finna have a heart attack or some shit. Like, come on, yo. Like, y'all got to think about shit like this. Like, at least like don't even get me started with the kids, yo, because this was the main shit that I started, that the main shit that I talked about in the beginning. Like, the kids, bro, don't get the kids involved. And now that they got the kids involved, they're trying to transition the kids at a young age, and the kids don't know no better. They just, oh, you tell them one thing and they believe that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you tell the kid, oh, don't touch the stove, it's hot. Oh, he listens. Oh, and if he doesn't listen and he touches it, then boom, then he gets, the consequence. Then he gets, what is it? What was the word I'm looking for? That he gets the not the karma, but y'all know what I mean. It's like, if you were to have a 4-year-old kid, just think of a 4 or 5-year-old kid that understands some words, that understands, little by little. And you want to try, and I seen this dude on TikTok, bro. He's like literally like forcing his kid to transition to a girl. And then it's like, oh, this was us in 2021, 2022, whatever the fuck. Oh, this is us this year. Oh my gosh, Eddie. But it's like one D is missing. So it's like EDIE. It's like weird ass fucking Eddie spelling. You know what I mean? It's like only one D. And it's like, bro, like the kids don't know no better. Like, leave the kids out of this shit, bro. They barely know their ABCs. They barely know right from wrong and shit. And you over here trying to tell them, oh, it's okay to be a girl. Oh, you're a boy. It's okay to be a girl though. Oh no, but I like the way I am right now. Oh no, it's okay to be a girl. Like, they're trying to force them. That's why they always like, like, oh, it's okay to do this, it's okay to do that, it's okay to experience with your body, it's okay to, experience with different genders, different, and all this shit. Like, they really trying to fucking lay down some type of fucking, like, fucking, what is it, the fucking stick. They're trying to lay down some law or some fucking stick to where they're trying to make like all this gay pride shit like comfortable. No, it's not comfortable. Like, these days, like, they're trying to make us feel odd because we were raised like the normal way and not this fucking all transitioning way. Like what? Well, like, make it make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, they over here trying to fucking force this shit down our throats. Like, oh, the news, obviously every type of fucking media and shit, the fucking Bud Light, fucking beer cans, fucking gaming. You know what I mean? Like, Call of Duty, didn't they fucking, or was it Call of Duty or some shit, or fucking like Twitch or some shit? They like canceled some streamer just because he said, oh, leave the kids out of it. Like, leave the kids out of the whole LGBTQ, whatever the fuck y'all want to, whatever gay agenda y'all want to promote and shove down their throats and shit. Just leave the kids out of it. And then like Call of Duty, like, they dropped his skin. They deleted his skin or some shit like that. Or like Twitch dropped him or some shit like that. Whatever the fuck it was. Like, it's really getting this serious now. Like, they really taking it to a different fucking level and shit. And it just pisses me off because it's like, yo, like I'm pretty sure if you listening to this and you can relate, you weren't raised this way. You can relate. You weren't raised that way. Obviously, there's times in life where, there's like some things might be considered gay, but you never really like veer into that route and shit. You know what I mean? Like, say like, oh, okay, like a little kid, like, he doesn't know no better and he's over here like playing around with other boys and shit. You got to pull him to the side and be like, hey, like, don't play like that, like touching or whatever, hey, don't play like that. That's, go play with toys, go play with video games and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, bro, like, come on now. Like, we weren't raised this way. And y'all know, like, from y'all own experiences, y'all weren't raised this way. And all of a sudden, like, these days, like, they're trying to make gay shit, like, normal and shit. Why do you think there's so much, like, wild shit happening? Like, fucking aliens in the backyard and shit. Like, yo, they really, like, some shit's about to pop off. Like, one of these days, someone's going to take it too far. I already said this in the other podcast, like, in the other episodes. One of these days, someone's going to take that shit too far, and, like, Jesus is going to come down, or the aliens are just gonna set it to you straight. You know what I mean? Because I heard that this lady, like, she came in contact with an alien, and she said she looked in the alien's eyes, and then she knew that, you know, she tried to lie to the alien, but the alien knew that she was telling a lie, that the alien could see the truth right through her eyes and shit. And I was just like tripping. I was like, yo, like, pretty much, like, what if aliens, like, just, like, come down and then they just, like, boom, like, you are this is your purpose. You know what I mean? Like, shit like that. Or just, like, everyone just I'm gonna just leave it off on this. Everyone just act right. Act your fucking age. Act your fucking gender. Stop trying to fucking be someone who you ain't. Stop trying to be someone you ain't. Shit. Stop trying to fucking be all soft and shit. I see these videos, fucking old guys trying to act like babies and shit. Old guys trying to act like fucking grandmas and shit, being wearing, like, fucking granny panties and shit, fucking high-waisted ass pants, leggings and shit. Get the fuck out of here, yo. Get the fuck out of here. Just because you see all these, like, up-and-coming kids, like, start transitioning and doing all this, like, gay shit and stupid shit, like, don't think you try to, you know, follow them and shit, because it's not going to look good on your part, because you ain't staying true to yourself. I'm going to just leave it on that, man. Fuck this shit, bro. This shit really pissing me off, bro. Like, literally, not only the White House with the whole, like, pride flag and all this shit, but the kids, bro. Like, they trying to fucking groom the kids, bro. Like, this is the main reason why I don't want to have kids, like, at all, honestly. Because I know, like, as I get older, I see how fucked the world is getting. I see it's not getting any better. It's getting fucking worse. Like, why isn't there talks about impeaching fucking Biden, bro? Like, get this who the fuck out of the office. This was a fucking pedophile. This was fucking, doesn't have any common sense, has no sense of awareness of his surroundings whatsoever. Obviously tripping here and there, fucking going up the steps on the Air Force One, tripping twice and shit. Like, you could barely stand on your fucking feet and walk up some steps and shit. Dumbass bitch, bro. Fuck, bro. But either way, let me start getting into Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, bro. Like, man, like, everybody, all the guys, man, like, honestly, just, like, whenever y'all feel down, or whenever y'all feel, like, discouraged, or whenever y'all feel, like, sad and shit, the only thing I do, y'all might take a different route. Y'all might go fucking drink a beer, forget all about it, but you ain't facing the real problem and shit, which is you inside. You know what I mean? Because we all have that, like, not the demon, but we all have that, like, that downsayer in our minds and shit. Like, the other day, I was, like, down talking the fuck out of myself, and I was, like, real, like, mad as fuck. I was like, man, you can't do this shit. Look at you. Like, I was like, man, you dumb as shit. You don't know shit. You don't know any of this shit. And I was just, like, talking down on myself, like, so bad. I was like, look at you, look in the mirror. And then I was like, go look in the mirror. And then, like, I literally, like, forced myself to get up, because, like, one voice is talking and the other voice is like, nah, like, chill, like, nah, like, chill. You know what I mean? And then it's just, like, back and forth. And fuck, that's just me personally. I might be finding some different type of, you know, demons and shit than y'all, but that's just me personally. Like, I'm my biggest doubter. I'm my biggest hater. I'm my biggest down player, you know? Down talking, like, constantly, consistently, literally. But just, like, whatever you're going through, man, just, like, try to regroup. Don't let your emotions act out. I know that I learned that the hard way. Trust me, that shit fucked up so many, like, relationships in the past, like, friendships and relationships, just of me acting out of emotion and shit, which is no good. Which is why, like, since my last relationship, I really learned how to, like, control my emotions and shit, and control, like, my feelings and shit. Cause, like, I seen it, and it just, like, what a coincidence. I seen like, I guess Larry June was on a podcast the other day, and he talked about like, oh, guys who act out of emotions are boys. You know, man, they handle their shit. They don't let the emotions get the best of them. They step up and shit. And I was like, damn, for real, that's facts right there. Cause yeah, like I said, out of my like previous relationships and shit, like I just act out of emotion and shit, and I just like, ended up like, like not like throwing shade at people, but just like pushing them to the side, like keeping my distance and shit. And I really have a bad issue of doing that shit because like I really, I like friends and shit, but once it gets to like relationship and shit, like like with homegirls and shit, once it gets to like relationship status, then I'm like, oh, okay, like I didn't know you liked me like that, and then I'm just like awkward and shit, and then I just like don't know what to do. But these days now I know to like gather my thoughts, like recollect and reconnect myself and shit, and just think things through and then proceed and shit. But yeah, if y'all ever having a hard time and shit, if y'all ever like have like suicidal thoughts and shit, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Today is not gonna be tomorrow. Today is not gonna be tomorrow. You have suicidal thoughts today, it's not gonna be the same tomorrow. It's not gonna be the same tomorrow. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that, bro. Just uplift yourself. Just uplift yourself. You know what I mean? Just like talk up on yourself. Like, I'm like, oh man, remember that one joke I said? Oh man, like that shit was funny. Oh, remember I had this whole crowd laughing? Like, oh, that shit was so funny. Like, shit like that. That's the way I talk to myself in my head. You know what I mean? Like, oh, remember I had this girl like dying laughing and shit, and and then it's just like that, man. Like, you just gotta like uplift yourself and shit. Cause obviously, like like suicidal thoughts, that shit's real, bro. That shit's real, and I don't know if y'all remember or it might be like way like episodes back, but some girl, she tried to like make fun of me one time for being like um what is it, like vulnerable or some shit, like just like being open about like my whole like suicide like plan and like situation back then and shit. She like tried to laugh at me for it, and I was just like, all right, but all right, like, and I was just like, oh, okay, like, you want me to say something, or you want me to like stop talking to you, or like what the fuck do I do? Like, what do you want me to do? You know what I mean? So I just like get awkward when shit like that happens and shit. But it was weird. She was like, oh my god, last episode was funny, and I was just like, oh, like what was funny about it? What was your favorite part? I think that's what I asked her. God damn, excuse me. And then she was all, oh, something, something. And then you mentioned about the suicide part, LOL. And then she put LOL at the end. And I was like, all right, but what's funny about that? And then she was like, oh, nothing, huh? Like, still laughing in there. But she said nothing. And I was just like, all right, like that's weird. And then she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I sound real mean right now. I didn't know you were being vulnerable and blah, 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 and all this shit. And I was just like, well, now you want to say sorry, but just right now you was like laughing at me and shit. Fucking dumbass bitch and shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, that shit really pisses me off. That's the shit that gets me like, like what the fuck are you thinking? Like, what the fuck goes on in your head and shit? You know what I mean? Like, I'm over here like opening up about my situation and shit, and then people want to laugh, and it's just like, okay, like what's funny about it? Like, I don't even know, but people, man, people. But yeah, man, guys out there, if y'all struggling with like suicidal thoughts and shit, or just like beating yourself up mentally, just just try to distract yourself. Just keep your mind like open. That's what I try to do. I just keep my mind open. Like, I don't try to shut it off. Like, oh, like these bad thoughts are in my head. Like, oh, if someone wants to tell me a compliment, oh, fuck that shit, just wave it off. Like, I'm keeping these bad thoughts in my head because it's just relaying, it's just replaying in my head, replaying over and over, and I just can't get it out. But just that's why I say keep your mind open. So like when you're having a hard time and something good happens, or you see something good that gives you just like that wholesome feeling, keep an open mind, and then just take that into consideration, and then be like, oh, okay, like this is what's worth living and shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, bro. Yeah, let's get into the basketball segment of this. Not really too much news in the basketball world right now. Zion might be on the move. Pelicans supposedly saying that they might be open to trading Zion to move up in the draft to get Scoot Henderson. So we'll see what's up with that. But as far as Bradley Beal supposedly he's gonna come to the Lakers. Supposedly, he's gonna be on the move to Miami. Supposedly he's gonna be on the move to Philadelphia, whatever the fuck. Um, but yeah, Denver Nuggets, NBA champions. Congrats to the Denver Nuggets, NBA champions. Nope, wrong one. Congrats to the Nuggets, NBA champions. I really wanted Miami to win in 7. I really wanted that, but it just didn't happen. It's insane though. That shit's crazy. A fucking 8 seed, play in team really made it all the way to the finals and shit. That's crazy, bro. That's fucking insane. But yeah, yeah, fucking Jokic at the end, like whenever they were like interviewing him and all this shit, they're like, oh, about the parade and stuff, and then he's like, oh, parade? When is the parade? And then they're like, they're like Thursday, and he was like, no. they're like, he's like, when is parade? When is parade? And then they're like Thursday. No, no, I have to go home. He's like, I have to go home. My horses. That shit is so sick, bro. Like this fool really like don't give a fuck. This fool really don't give a fuck about the NBA, bro. This shit is too easy for him. Y'all seen him celebrate? He didn't even celebrate like that. This fool don't even give a shit. Like, come on, bro. Like, you a fucking NBA champion now. Jokic, you a fucking champion now. Like, let that shit sink in. Let that shit sink in one time for real. And that shit is like it throws my brain off so much that he don't give a shit. Like, oh, that he's a champion, oh, that he won finals MVP. He don't give a shit about none of that. Literally. Like, just imagine how Chris Paul feels. Just imagine how Chris Paul feels whenever he's at home watching the finals or whatever, oh, seeing Jokic get a ring, and then Jokic is just like, they're like, oh, how does it feel being an NBA champion? He's like, it's good. It's good. It's good. I'm ready to go home. Like, he's just worried about going home. He don't give a fuck about like, oh, like trying to show off. Like, you know, he don't care about like showing off. He don't care about like celebrate. He's just like straight like, oh, I'm trying to go home. Like, I'm trying to see my fucking horses and shit. Like, that shit is so fucking hilarious to me. Like, and I had to make the Chris Paul comparison because obviously, like, everybody, like, oh, Chris Paul still ain't get a ring. Chris Paul still ain't get a ring and shit. But it's like, bro, like, come on now. Oh, man. I feel bad for Chris Paul, though. Like, your whole career, you're trying to get a ring. And then this fool, like, in his what, like, fucking 6th, 7th season or whatever, when Jokic came in the league, like 2015, 2016 or some shit like that. Like, yeah, like 7th or 8th season in the league, he got his ring before you. And when he got his ring, he just didn't give a fuck. He just didn't give a fuck about the ring. He was just like, it's good. It's good. The job is done. And I'm ready to go home. That's insane, bro. Fucking Jokic, man. Hilarious. Hilarious Jokic. Yo, I'm about to go see the Spider-Man. I'm about to go see Spider-Man, this weekend and shit. Obviously, like, it's like a multiverse of like Spider-Mans and shit like that. And it just reminded me, like, do y'all ever think like there's a multiverse of you? Like, let me put this in a like a scenario. Not a scenario, but let me put it in a perception. Perception? Let me put it in a perspective. Yeah, perspective. Yeah. Let me put it on perspective real quick. Like, say, like me. I'm me right now. And I'm a podcaster in this earth. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just a podcaster on this earth. Say in another universe, I'm like a basketball player. Say in other universe, I'm a rapper. And in another universe, I'm a journalist and shit like that. You know what I mean? Y'all ever think like there's like different versions of you like that and shit? I think there is, but I think it's like, y'all ever see like a human eye, like the human eye and shit, and you see like the eye color, whatever the fuck, just you see the human eye and you like, it looks like a universe, right? Like they obviously you've seen the pictures. I'm pretty sure you've seen a picture of like, oh, the universe on one side or like the galaxy on one side, and then like um the eyeball, and then it like almost looks like, you know, like it almost looks like a whole world, you know what I mean? So that's why I feel like we see people like, you know, what is the, how do I want to explain it? It's like people see you, but like in their version, in their world, you know what I mean? Like they judge you in their world, you know what I mean? Like, oh, in this person's eyes, I might be an asshole. Oh, but in this person's eyes, I might be the funniest guy they've ever met and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it just depends how they see you in the world. Like, you know, like, because the eye looks like a world. You get it? Bars? You know what I mean? Oh, no, wrong one. Huh? Wrong one. I was laughing at myself. But yeah, what's another one? Like, what's another, like, what's another saying I can use? I don't know. I don't know where I was going with this. I was like gonna like keep going with it, but I just like got sidetracked and shit. Multiverse, the eye. I'm gonna try to like go back, collect my thoughts, regather my thoughts. I'm like, you know what I mean? Y'all ever see that Family Guy episode where it's like you ever see that Family Guy episode where it's the millipede or something like that, and then he sees the centipede, and then he's like, oh, something, you're not a centipede, you're a millipede, or something like that. Or he's like, you're not a centipede, and then he's like, wait a minute, and he starts counting his legs. He's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 30. He's like 20, 30, 40, 50. He's like counting so fast and shit. That shit's so hilarious. But I feel like we can end this episode off here, y'all. I covered a good amount of topics because there's not really that much basketball to talk about and shit. Obviously, like, you know, in the other episode, not the other episodes, but obviously, like, as time goes on, I have more topics to talk about. You know, I might have more friends, you know, different group of friends this time, next podcast. You never know. It might be me again solo on my next podcast. You never know. But in the meantime, just stay tuned. You know what I mean? Guys, keep your mental health on lock. You know what I mean? Think. Always think. Never overthink. Always think about you know, the next good thing. Not the next big thing, but the next good thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, pretty much that's it. It's a wrap for today, y'all. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. Follow me on the socials. Instagram, Twitter, always the same. NoSignalMando. TikTok, Uncle Mando 7. Spotify for the listeners, No Signal Podcast. The podcast IG, NoSignalPod, where I post most of my little clips and stuff. NoSignalPod. And kick.com/BeanMando. And that's it, y'all. We can end it off right here. Peace and one love. Fellas, love yourself before you love anyone else. Peace.